if you want to have roses like this, then you definitely need to watch this episode, because I will go through all the steps that you need to do to get your beautiful roses. Today I received a beautiful parcel and I want to open it with you. You know, 6 years ago, this beautiful rose garden started with a parcel like this, just a little bit bigger. So let's start. I have my box. I haven't opened it yet. And I will encourage you not to open it until you read all the instructions, because there are important ones. For example, there is a note that you can keep actually your order in an original box for 2 weeks, with the condition that you're not opening the inside part. And here it is. And you need to do this because, you know, actually the story time, when we received the first ever parcel of bare root roses, I was so excited and I was so afraid that something will go wrong, that I've opened everything just to check. And then, only then, I wrote this sign that actually after that you need immediately to put it into the water, and then you need to immediately to plant them, not immediately with a gap, but the same day. And that was in the middle of the week, and I was working, my husband was working, and I was like, no, we need to stop everything, we need to go home and to dig the holes. And yeah, the result is just beautiful. But please don't do the same mistake. First, you read everything. There's not too much notes here in the box, but they're important ones. So now, that's the most exciting part. So in this order, I have 4 varieties of roses. The first one is a climber, that's Strawberry Hill. That's a beautiful pink climber. Then we have Boscobel, pink variety, but now that's a shrub rose, and it's like classic variety, and I really wanted to try it in my garden. The next variety is Kew Gardens, and it's white variety with a delicate flowers, with a lot of delicate flowers, and they create a really beautiful presentation, and you can train it as a climber, but it's a shrub rose as well. And the 4th variety is the Lady Gardener. That's an orange apricot flowering shrub rose. And now the only thing that has left in this box, it's actually the instructions. And now I will soak my roses in water for 2 hours, for 2-3 hours. So now my roses just in the buckets next to me, and I'm leaving them for 2 hours, and then we will get back to planting. And the idea about letting your roses sit in the water for 2 hours is coming from the fact that actually the plants are rather degraded, because once they were dug out, then they were stored, they were sent to you, then they arrived, and then they spend a day 2 or even 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks in this box. So yes, you need to give them water, a lot of water, so they could soak it up and then to grow. And right now, that's the perfect time for you to start your rose garden, just because right now roses are available for you in both formats, potted roses and bare root roses. I prefer bare root option just because it allows me to save quite a budget, and that's a lot. Right now, you have two options, and you can plant your roses, bare root roses, straight into the ground, or you can make kind of transitional planting and put them in a rather big plastic pots with a nice compost, with a nice soil, and to let them overwinter like this. I would suggest this method if you're not sure about your growing space for the plant. So for example, right now I'm not sure where I'm gonna be planting these roses because I have a few ideas, and during the winter I hope that we will make a certain progress in this garden and that will create a few pockets for me to put them in. But if these plants will never work out or they will change, then I have another places in my mind to put these roses. And just because I'm not sure about like final placement of these plants, I will be putting them in a plastic pots and keeping them for as long as I need to. And actually another thing is that you can plant your roses and in a big containers and big terracotta pots, and I have quite a few here in the terrace that will work for this purposes, and probably some of the roses will end up in pots. And yeah, you just need to remember that roses are actually shrubs. It's not perennial flowers, it's shrubs, meaning that they will need a lot of space for their root system to develop, to perform nicely. So you need to pick big pots, and I'm looking at pots next to me, but the diameter must be not less than 45 centimeters and the depth of or height of your pot not less 45 centimeters. That's quite a big containers, and bigger is better, but that will allow you to grow your beautiful roses. And now we're coming to the most important part, and to the question where you should plant your roses. And the right placement of your roses will define the amount of problems you will be facing. So roses love sun, a lot of sun. The more sun that you can give them is just better. There are some varieties that are more shade tolerant than the others, but the main rule of thumb is actually that more sunlight the rose gets, the more productive it is. So if you want to have a beautiful and spectacular blooming season, you need to provide a lot of sunlight. That's why my roses in several positions, they're exposed to the 12-16 hours of sun, direct sun. The other thing that you might consider that actually roses are really drought tolerant plants, meaning that they will prefer a shortage of water than sitting in the water. They can tolerate being in the water for a period of time, but that will create unnecessary fungus disease thing. Another thing is soil. Actually, these shrubs are really tough. They can handle everything. I have them growing in a red clay. I have them growing here in the rocks. I have them growing in a really sandy soil back in my vegetable garden. They can handle it all, but they prefer actually really good drained soil, and it can be sandy, it can be really nice and rich, but the most important part is good drainage. So no standing water, a lot of sunlight, and another one, rather important one, it's a good airflow. and that will allow you to eliminate a lot of issues that roses might have. Dark spots, fungus diseases, spreading of insects. All this will be eliminated by the right placement of your roses, and that will make your life so much easier. So I've prepared this pots, plastic pots, the big ones, so I could put all the root system in here nicely, and there would be enough space for the roses to grow right now. And I'm gonna be planting them one by one. So let's start. So to plant your rose, you want a plastic pot, a big one. You want good potting mix. The size of this pot is 10 liters, and you can go up, but I don't believe that you should take a smaller container. Then you're getting your rose, and you're trying to put all the roots nicely. That's a temporary planting, so I'm not trying to put it perfectly centered. And I'm covering everything, and as you can see, this rose was grafted, so this is the point of graft. And normally what I'm doing, I'm putting it under the ground slightly, but under the ground to protect this spot. And voila, now we have a rose planted. And here are my roses. They're absolutely wonderful, ready to grow, ready to roll, and I can't wait to plant them in their permanent position. And right now my roses are planted. So yeah, but what if you want to plant them directly into the soil? What should you do? Actually, the steps are pretty much sorry Rose. Step pretty much the same. You want to dig a big hole in the ground just to put nicely all the root system. And actually David Austin roses are grafted, meaning that there is this graft part probably you saw I was showing you. Hopefully I will include it into the video. So you will see this grafting point, and this grafting point is it needs to be covered like by 5 centimeters, I believe. So that will protect this place and that will create the beautiful shape of your rose. And it's really, really important to do and not to forget. Cover it up. Don't be afraid. It's absolutely fine. That will protect your rose and create a beautiful structure for your rose later on. So yeah, that's all that you need to do. Pretty much the same steps as we were doing in a plastic pot. You're preparing the home, you're filling it with something good, you're placing your rose, covering the grafting part, and then water it nicely. And again, it's autumn, so maybe right now it's a really rainy moment for you, then you don't need to water it too often. For me, right now it's rainy. So right now I water it, and the next time I'll be watering the plants, that will be in a week. And I don't believe that I need to water them kind of too often right now. And yeah, we just need to wait, relax, and wait till the spring. See you in the garden. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your roses. Bye. Please like, share, subscribe.